Hello, and welcome to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are back on the Zooms today with Robyn Miller. You may remember she is the executive director for Watts, Winchester area temporary transitional shelter. And Robyn, I would imagine this is one of your busiest times of year, even more so since we're not even seeing double-digit temps outside these days.
Yes, we are operating 24 hours a day. That's you do because you want people to have a safe place to go day and night. There are people that they will not come to the overnight shelter for a variety of reasons. So you need to give them some place to go during the day. And that's why we have two different buildings and two different structure systems to try to help as many people experiencing homelessness as best we can and meet that need. So no one freezes to death. That's always the goal, is to keep people from freezing to death outside and providing them safe shelter.
Whenever the temps get to be this crazy cold, and granted, we haven't seen this in quite some time, but
Mhm.
it always rings back in my brain one of my very first conversations with you telling me how Watts was founded. And it was because someone literally froze to death on the streets in Winchester because of the temperature. So when it starts to get this cold, I always think of you and wonder how well you guys are doing and whether we can help.
Because especially our warming center is so crowded and people are staying with us from 7 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. when we close, we can always use snacks, coffee, always use coffee, sugar. We're actually down to our last 5 pounds of sugar. And also, one of the things the guests absolutely love, which sounds simple, but it's a big deal to them, is flavored creamers. They love to have flavored creamers in their coffee. Coffee is a huge demand at Watts, but any kind of snack food, if you're home and you're trapped and you want to bake, we'll love to take your baked goods, anything you can think of. If you go to our website, we have an Amazon wish list. That wish list is just to give people suggestions of what we need. Please bring whatever you feel you can bring. We appreciate it all. Even just a gallon of milk makes a big difference for our guests.
Where is the warming center located and how would I get you those supplies?
We are located at Montague Avenue United Methodist Church, which is 102 Montague Avenue. We are down the stairs. You're welcome to stop by. Like I said, the staff is there from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we're always there. You're welcome to drop things off right there. Or if you want, you're welcome to actually have things shipped there. If you order from Amazon, it will go directly to that location. But if you want to use the Walmart app, just tell them where we are. We've had people use the Walmart app and they deliver to us all the time. So anything you can do, we really appreciate it because they're hungry people and we are going through a lot of food.
And you've extended the hours of the warming center because these temps have gotten so cold.
We have. We normally shut down at 1 p.m., but we are staying open till 5. That gives them an hour to get to the bus. Thankfully, some people in the community have been very generously bringing us Win Ready cards. So our guests, we can call Win Ready and they're picked up and they're taken to the bus stop. That is another thing. If you want to go to the city offices and get us Win Ready cards, we always appreciate that too. Our guests really appreciate that because it's hard to maneuver around the city right now. The sidewalks, and no one's fault, you can't, or as they called it on the news today, it's snowcrete. It's turned into just straight up concrete, the snow. So you can't remove it. So any way we can safely move them around the city is very helpful.
And that's a good opportunity to also point out to people that when you buy those Win Ready cards and get them to you, there are a lot of people that you serve that do have jobs and could use those bus
Yeah.
passes to get back and forth to work as well. So it could serve a dual purpose.
It does. We have people who have to get to work. We have people who have to get to doctor's appointments. And if you don't have any income, that can be really difficult. When we have bingo nights. And one of the prizes are Win Ready or WinTran gift cards. And those are usually the first things that go over any other kind of gift card in their prizes because they need to be able to maneuver around the city safely. Some of them have limited capacity to actually walk and things of that nature. So snow and ice doesn't make it any easier.
Let's talk a little bit about the overnight shelter. Your
Mhm.
season started in November, is that right?
Yep, November 1st. We're at New Life Christian Church. They've done an amazing job. We did have to operate there for 24 hours a day, actually 36 hours. They have stepped up. I don't know how they got their volunteers out there, but they did, and serving them all of their meals and keeping them safe and giving them showers on top of everything else and watching football games. So they've really kept them entertained and safe. This coming week, we will be at Christ Episcopal Church, which is right downtown on Boscawen and Braddock Street. It is one of the few churches that we do not run a bus. You are welcome just to walk up to the church at 6 p.m. and we will let you in. We have 45 beds, up to 45 beds. So there's plenty of space, and please come in because the temperatures, they won't be going up. Even when they finally do get above freezing at night, it'll be well below freezing again. So please come in and seek shelter.
I was joking with Tim last night when they were showing the 10-day forecast on the weather. And I thought, by the time we see that 35 or 38 degrees, we're going to think that feels like 60 or 70. But the reality
Exactly.
is, it is still crazy cold and unsafe for people to be out in it.
Yes, and it's going to take a really long time for everything to melt. So it's not safe. I meet, unfortunately, homeless people all the time, like, I've got this, I've got this. By the time, sadly, you realize you're in trouble when it comes to being cold, it might be too late. So please come inside where there's warmth, even if it's just for a night. Give your body a break.
Let's talk about the overnight shelter for a second, too, from the perspective of who can come and what that experience is like.
Anyone over the age of 18 is welcome. We're just going to ask your name. If you don't want to give us your real name, that's okay. You just have to give us a name so we have a name to call you. People come in, we do a light search of everybody. We want people to be safe. So we want to make sure no one has any drugs or alcohol or weapons on them. So everyone in there is safe for the night. That is always the goal. They're in there from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. They'll be given dinner and breakfast in the morning. We are downtown, so many of the guests will wake up and just walk out when they've woken up. That's absolutely fine. Please just bring one light bag with you. We, knock on wood, have never had bed bugs, and our goal is to never have bed bugs. So we do not allow a lot of luggage or other items to come in. Just bring in your necessities, and we will let you in, and you get a safe place to sleep for the night.
And it is, I don't want to say supervised, but you have chaperones, you have volunteers and staff that keep an eye on things overnight to ensure everyone's safety.
We do. We always have two staff members at all times, and they are up all night long checking on guests. Sadly, a lot of our guests have many, many health issues, including seizures. So we do have them checking on people all night long to make sure that they're breathing, that they're safe, they are where they need to be in that moment. They're not just wandering around, they're safe. So that is always the goal. It's the number one reason people don't come to seek shelter is they don't feel safe. So our goal is not only make sure that they are safe, the belongings are safe, everything is safe about them.
You mentioned earlier that usually you only ask for a name and they don't even have to necessarily give you their real name, but there are a fair amount of people who do give you their real name and you are able to continue helping them. You have case management and you can reconnect them with family or help them find temporary shelter, transitional shelter, all of those kinds of things.
We do. We have dedicated staff that's working with them if they're willing to get their ID, to ask for job applications, housing applications, rehab. Thankfully, we have an amazing partnership with the Winchester Police Department's Addiction Recovery Program. So far, just in January, we have helped housed 5 people and 3 people have gone to rehab. We are always working very hard to get them whatever help they need and wherever they need to be on that continuum. We've also helped 2 people return out of the area. They weren't from the area and they wanted to go home. Great, let's get you home, whatever it takes. Their goal is always to end their homelessness. It's why we now actually, with a partner, 143 Transformations, own 2 of our own transitional homes. Because if you take someone who's been chronically homeless for 13 years, you can't just put them in a house and shut the door and say best of luck. The high probability is they will fail in that situation. If you've been homeless for 13 years, things that you probably should know, you may have forgotten, or they've changed since you were last housed. So we work with them every day to try to get them the help they need and make them understand how to use a system that's in place to get them food or rides or whatever they need.
I remember for Day of Caring last year, one of the Day of Caring projects was getting one of those houses up and ready and getting some of those residents moved in. And I met a couple of the ones that were
Mhm.
ultimately going to be living there, and just the look of relief, I think, on their faces, and the hope that they had that they were now on a path that was going to get them to a better place.
Yeah, they're all still safely housed there, and that's always the goal. One had some chronic health issues, but just being housed alone has helped him with his chronic health issues. Housing is always the ultimate end goal, that someone is safely housed and they don't ever need Watts again. I don't ever want them to be in Watts again. They all deserve better. They all deserve a home and a door that they can shut to be safe.
Let's take a break. When we come back, can we talk a little bit about the point in time count and then coldest night of the year?
Yes.
Is somebody out there saying, hold my beer, as
Yeah.
we're talking about the coldest night of the year
Yeah.
fundraiser coming up at the end of February.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that in the next segment, too. Does that work?
That sounds great.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Robyn Miller. She is the executive director for Watts. The overnight shelter is open right now. The warming center is open as well. I'll put information and links to all of that in the show notes at thevalleytodaypodcast.com. But we're going to come back and learn about the coldest night of the year fundraiser in just a couple of minutes.
This Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. She doesn't know that yet. All she knows is that she went to justserve.org and volunteered an hour of her time. Browsing through dozens of service opportunities in her community, April decided to spend her Tuesday evening serving dinner to mothers and their children at a transitional house. She doesn't know she'll be serving a particular mother and daughter who will be spending their first night in this home. April doesn't know that the hot meal she'll serve is the first this mother and daughter will have had in a week, or that the simple smile she'll offer as she serves them will help them realize that things are going to be all right. Which is why this Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are on the Zooms today with Robyn Miller. She is the executive director for Watts. We're talking about all of the services that Watts provides to our unhoused population in Winchester, Frederick County. Though, Robyn, before we start talking about the point in time count, our last conversation, you had a shelter in Strasburg. You were partnering and were able to be serving some people in Shenandoah County as well. Are you still able to do that?
We are moving slow as best we can into Shenandoah County. Martinsburg has opened their own thermal shelter, so Berkeley County is covered. We're trying to get every county and every city to have their own shelter, but Shenandoah County isn't there yet. So we're going to help, because there are people in Shenandoah County experiencing homelessness that do need a safe place to go, and also just need help getting out of homelessness. It is very difficult to come out of homelessness. It takes a lot of work and a lot of barriers to overcome. And so we want to help them with that.
Let's talk about the point in time count. So we're sitting here on Thursday morning, the 29th of January. The point in time count started yesterday, runs through today. What is that exactly?
The point in time count is the one day of the year that the homeless population is counted, not just in our area, but across the nation, to try to get an idea of how many people in our nation are experiencing homelessness. It's very difficult to count because it's a moving target, but we do the best we can. Our region is Harrisonburg up to Winchester, including Front Royal. There are people going out into those encampments, going out to the shelters, going out to the motels, and asking them, are you homeless? Who's paying for this hotel room? Are you getting services? And so we have an idea. Our numbers usually for our region are in the 400s that are counted by the statistic of what's called the McKinley-Vento rule. You take that number and times it by 10. So our number would be about 4,000 people experiencing homelessness, because first of all, they're hard to count. There's people all over the place in little nooks that you would never know. There's people who don't want to be counted because they don't want to be on any records. And of course, then you have families with children, and they're actually not counted in this count. That is counted by the state's Department of Ed. So that's a whole different counting system. So that's why we say take the number and times it by 10. So you get about 4,000 people from Harrisonburg to Winchester experiencing homelessness in some form, whether they're in a motel that someone else is paying for, or they're couch surfing on somebody's couch that they technically don't have permission to live there. They're living in their car, or they're actually in a homeless shelter.
It's interesting that families are counted by Department of Education because they have a little bit different of a definition for being homeless, right? If you're living in your car, you're doing that couch surfing, they don't necessarily consider that to be homeless, right?
No, they don't. And on top of that, you also have children who are being homeschooled. So they're not getting counted at all. It's a little bit odd statistic, and it's hard. Once again, it's hard to track who is actually experiencing homelessness. They do the best they can to get some ideas. And of course, once you have that number, that determines how much federal funding you get to build low-income housing.
I've had those conversations with Elise from Bright Futures, and there are several hundred students in Winchester Public Schools and Frederick County Public Schools that she deems, given her background and history with United Way and
Yeah.
knowing who's what, she deems them to be considered homeless, even though maybe the Department of Ed wouldn't necessarily. So it's often difficult to figure out what these numbers actually mean and how real they really are.
With children experiencing homelessness, they have to be in public schools to be counted. And also, as you mentioned, if someone is currently living with their parents, by their definition, they wouldn't be homeless, even though that parent might be renting something and tomorrow might not be able to let their children and their grandchildren stay with them. It's a hard target to count.
And when you talk about these numbers being valuable so that the federal dollars get funneled into housing, you don't receive any federal funding at all, right? Unless you maybe apply for a grant, something along those lines. So your funding comes from boots on the ground grassroots.
Yes, we are completely privately funded. We don't receive any state, federal, or any local funding. So every dollar we have is either through our fundraising events, individual donors, they make up the bulk of our fundraising, and of course the churches. So it is all privately funded.
And that's why events like Coldest Night of the Year are so valuable to you because it's one of your biggest fundraisers, isn't it?
It is the largest. It is responsible for a quarter of our operational budget. It'll determine what we can do in 2026 and 2027 of the upcoming season. So it's huge for us. It really does set us up for the next year. It's needed. I'd love to say everything is free, but it's not. We are a business that has operational expenses. We are a service provider, and we have insurance, and we have electrical bills, and we have a bus, and we have guests, and we have staff. We have trained staff that are there to deal with situations in our shelter and keep everybody safe.
And this is a national event. This is done across the country, isn't it?
It is. It's all across the United States and Canada. Virginia is a huge participant. It's not just Winchester, but it's Front Royal and Harrisonburg and Woodbridge, Lynchburg, Portsmouth. There's many of us participating in Coldest Night of the Year, trying to raise awareness about homelessness and hurt and hunger in our area and what a difference you can make. In Winchester, we do walk around downtown Winchester. You will walk past many of our guests who are currently experiencing homelessness, and they know why they're there. This is going to be going into year 5, and they know what Coldest Night of the Year is. And they're so grateful to see people walk by and know that they care and people haven't forgotten about them. Most of our guests are local. This is where they were born and raised and where they've grown up. It is home. And a lot of times they say they feel they've been left behind because our area's costs are going up so fast. I have a gentleman in my shelter right now that the next day his rent went up and he couldn't afford it anymore. And his Social Security wasn't going to increase to meet the need. And now he's in my shelter. So they do feel like they've been left behind in an area that's growing very quickly.
How does it work exactly? How can I participate in Coldest Night of the Year?
All you need to be able to do is walk. It's a simple 2K walk just around the city of Winchester. It's a flat, easy walk. If you want something a little bit more intense, we have a 5K walk that goes through the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley that will go up a very large hill, but it's a beautiful walk and a beautiful view of the city of Winchester. You just go to cnoy.com or you go to our website, watt/homelessshelter.org. You can join an already existing team, or you can create your own team. And we love to have as many people out there walking to not only let our guests know that people care, but let the city of Winchester know that we really do want an answer to end homelessness in our area.
How many did you have last year?
We had 800. This year, we hope to have more. Our guest speaker is Lauren Ricketts. She's very graciously offered to be our guest speaker. We also have a former guest and now employee of Watts who will be speaking about the challenges of overcoming homelessness. She has done it firsthand. She knows how easily, sadly, it is to fall into homelessness and the fight it takes to get out of it.
Do you still do the soup at the end of the walk?
We do. It ends in a soup. It starts and ends in Braddock Street United Methodist Church. It ends in a soup kitchen provided by Billy Sue. It's wonderful soup, and you're welcome to come and have a cup of soup with us. And if you're still hungry after a bowl of soup, there are all the downtown businesses open that night, and they would love to provide you even more food. So it's a great way to support Watts and our local community.
It's really one of those catch-22 type of fundraisers because it's called the coldest night of the year because you want the people walking in it to truly walk a mile in the shoes of the people that you're serving. But at the same time, I could see where if it's too cold, people aren't going to want to do that either. So it's really a conundrum that you've got going on with this event.
I hope it's much warmer than it is today and there's no snow. Last year it was a nice walk. It was a nice day. I wasn't even wearing a jacket. So I'm always for that. I talk to my Canadian counterparts and them having to pivot the day of because they have 3 feet of snow. I hope that never happens to us. It's to give people an idea of what it's like to be outside, but at the same time, we are Virginians and there's only so much we're going to take. So yes, I hope it's not the coldest night of the year. I hope we're experiencing that and it ends soon because someone is a homeless service provider. I'm ready for the snow and the cold to be done.
Right? You and I both.
Yeah.
And there is a mechanism in place. So if you are one of those people who are like, look, I think what they're doing is great, but I am not going out there to walk, here's the easy solution to that. Write a check. Find someone who has a team or just write a check. That works just as well.
Yeah, you can donate anytime. They have a general team on there that you can just donate to them or just donate to Watts in general. It's up to you how you want to do it. We'll take anything. Our costs have definitely increased with the snowstorm, but you have to give someone someplace safe and warm to be. That's just something you have to do.
So what can I do for you now? Between now and the 28th, are there things, you mentioned a list of things that you can always use in the warming center. Are there things that you can use at the overnight shelter? Do you need help with dinners? Can I order 2 dozen pizzas? Are there things like that that you need?
When it comes to the overnight shelter, you would have to contact me personally just because our churches are amazing. We have over 75 participating churches with 21 of them being hosts, and they take care of business. It's very rare that they need help, but if they do, I definitely reach out and get help. We've had Paladin and Anthony's and Claudio's and Domino's too, all do last minute meals for us because something happened. So we always appreciate any help. Definitely contact me. I can let you know if some of the upcoming churches need help with meals.
I would assume that there are a lot of people out there that think, oh, I'm going to go buy some blankets or I'm going to go buy some warm clothes and I'm going to donate them to Watts. That's not always the smartest, most effective thing to do, right?
No, I appreciate everyone who does that. We do not have the capacity of storage. We do not have a building. We are in our buildings as a gift to the churches. And we move. The night shelter moves every single Saturday. And come March 27th, we will be out of Montague. So we don't have that storage capacity to have clothing. If you have clothing, please donate it to CCAP or Goodwill or some other organizations. All of those organizations are extremely generous with my guests. We'll let them come anytime to get any clothing they need. And blankets, Watts, we use a very particular type of blanket because our laundry goes through such a severe laundry process. We use a very sturdy blanket that'll hold up to that laundry process. And if we do have extras, sometimes we donate them to other organizations. And occasionally we will give them to people that for some reason we've had to turn them away because we don't have capacity. But we haven't had to turn anyone away since early November. So if they're coming to Watts, we're going to take you in. We're going to offer you shelter. That's always the first goal.
So where can I go to learn more about Watts, to make a donation, to sign up for a team for coldest night of the year? Where should I start?
I would start at our website, which is watts-homelessshelter.org. Or you can just type in Winchester Area Temporary Transitional Shelter. It'll come up that way too. All of our information is on there, including upcoming fundraisers. We have this one, but for some reason I'm busy on February 28th. We have our Caring and Sharing dinner in August, and we have, of course, have Cheesin' for a Reason, November 14th. So if you can't do this one, there will be others. If you eat, we'll have something for you.
And you're on Facebook, you're on social media. People can do something as simple as sharing a post about coldest night of the year, sharing your list of what you need right now. That's incredibly beneficial as well.
Yes, it is. It's always, all of it's very helpful, and we appreciate any way you can engage with us.
Robyn, I will let you, I know you stepped out of a meeting to record this with me, so I'm going to let you get back to that meeting, and I appreciate the work that you're doing and taking the time today to give me an update.
Thank you for having us.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon, so meet me here then.